So Jimmy Butler returned tonight for the Heat in a blowout loss to the Nuggets at home, a game where they, really just weren't great. They were down kind of all game, just were never really in position to win this game. Jimmy goes 7 of 15, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 18 points. Uninspiring, but not awful, just kind of there. Tyler Hero's pretty efficient, 22 points. Bam Adebayo's had a rough offensive season. He wasn't great tonight, but he wasn't terrible either. 16, 11, and 4. Just a team that looked, it wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like things in Miami are weird right now because they suspend Jimmy for 7 games, and now he's back. And the way things were being discussed prior to today's game made it sound as though there was no chance Jimmy was coming back. Like before today, everything that I heard and everything that I saw made it sound as though Jimmy was being very clear he has no interest in being in Miami Heat anymore. I still kind of think he feels that way. I just think he wants to get paid. I think that's why he's playing at this point, pretty much. And the only way he's going to get paid is if he plays, because they suspended him. And if he's completely and utterly half-assing it like he was the couple games before he got suspended, then that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I think the Heat are kind of at fault here. Like, Jimmy's being a little bit toxic. I'm not going to disagree with that. I think the way that he has handled things in terms of wanting to be out of Miami hasn't been great. But the Heat haven't handled things well either. I think Pat Riley is kind of just being a grumpy old man and like refusing, digging his feet in the ground and refusing to trade Jimmy. The problem is, they're going to lose Jimmy for nothing if they don't trade him. And he has no interest in resigning with Miami. That much is very clear. I mean, he comes out after tonight's game and he says a couple different things. First thing he says is, there was a lot said by everybody except for me to tell you the truth. So we'll let people keep talking like they know everything and have all the answers. And then sooner than later, the whole truth will come out. Until then, we'll continue to let people talk. If I'm here, I will get out there and play. Not exactly a committal answer. He gets asked also how he is about finding his joy on the court with the Heat, which is something that he quoted right before he got suspended, right before he left the team, about how he's lost his joy on the court. Now he doesn't think he's going to find that with the Heat. His response was no comment. And then he does come out and say that he has no beef at all with, he said it right here, it felt good to get out there and actually run around with these guys as much as everybody may think. I got no problem with these guys. My beef is not with them. It never will be. He's basically making it very clear he still has a clear beef with the Heat. Now, what is that beef? I don't totally know. And that's where I kind of wonder, look, I'm not going to sit here and act like Jimmy is in the right, because I don't really think he is. But I also don't know if the Heat are either. Like, I feel like both teams are kind of losing at this point. Both sides, both parties of this dispute at this point are losing, because Jimmy's realistically losing contract value and he's losing control, and he's maintaining a reputation and growing a reputation of being a diva. That's not a reputation you want to build as a 35-year-old whose best days are probably behind him, almost certainly behind him. He's not having a bad year. I'm not sitting here and criticizing him, but he's not having a great year either. He's not the same volume scorer that he once was. I don't think he's quite the same control the game, take over in big moments type player that he once was, although I'm sure he'd like to have you think that he is in the playoffs. Is he actually? I don't really know. I'd like to have seen more of that over the last couple seasons, to be totally honest, to actually believe that's really still there. But at the same time, if the Heat don't trade him, they're going to lose him for nothing in the summer. He basically straight up told Pat Riley this week, I'm opting out and I'm not going to play. I mean, that report came out earlier this week that he said he's not re-signing with the Heat. So in my opinion, if you are the Heat franchise, it is in your best interest to trade Jimmy Butler. You can be mad at him all you want, and I think the fans are mad at him. Heat fans are pissed at Jimmy Butler. And can you blame him? No, not really. But I don't know. They say he gave up on him. I don't know if he really did give up on them. I think he kind of did. And maybe by extension, he gave up on his teammates. But he seems to be mad at Pat Riley. I think there's a justifiable frustration with Pat Riley, in all honesty. Pat Riley's been kind of snide in his comments toward Jimmy for the last couple seasons now, in all honesty. Last year started and this year as well. Like, I just feel like there's been tension there for a while, and it has really boiled over, and now Jimmy's just kind of doing what he has to do to get paid. And can you blame the guy? No, not really. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know. I just don't know where this can go long term that's productive for either party at this point. That's not a trade. Is my basic opinion at this point. Like, I don't see a lot of productivity being gleaned from this relationship. Just because Jimmy is still a player. Let's change ACs. But still, ACs valuable trade at this point. I do believe that. And so I don't see why he wouldn't trade. He clearly has no real interest in staying in Miami. I don't think. I guess I could be wrong, but I really think it's going to be properly worked out in the near future. Like, I don't know. I'm almost at a little bit of a loss for what exactly the solution is in this situation, but I don't think the solution is this weird tension that feels like it's going to hang over this team for as long as Jimmy's playing there. And you look at the standings, I mean, they're the 9 seed at this point, they're 20-20. They don't look to be anything more than a playoff contender. They're not a championship contender at all. And I don't care what you say about Heat Magic and Heat Voodoo and all that type of stuff. They haven't proven that in 2 seasons now. And like, look, you can say what you will. They've had their moments in the past in the playoffs, and maybe there's another run in there somehow if they're fully healthy. But I don't think so. Not with this level of disinterest and competition and just tension and strife in the team. What's the point? You keep Jimmy and you're gonna be the 9 seed or the 8 seed, or maybe you squeak into the playoffs and you get the pleasure of getting blown out by the Cavs and the Celtics in the first round. Does that sound like the way to go? I don't know. And then Jimmy leaves in the summer and the Heat get nothing. And Jimmy gets paid less than he probably would otherwise. Like, I just think this whole situation is doing no good for either party, in all honesty, and either team. So I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, what are we even doing here at this point? I'm honestly, I will say, I was very surprised to see the notification that Jimmy Butler was going to play. That's just not something that I expected. And at the end of the day, the problem with this team is, with or without Jimmy Butler, they're just not that good. For the season, they're 11th in defensive rating. For the season, they're 16th in offensive rating, and they are 13th in overall net rating. Like, it's not good by any means. This is not a great team. They're not a horrible team, but they are at best a playoff team. And that's about it. And like, that's not a horrible thing to be if you're a rebuilding, young, talented, like up and coming type team. But if you are in the situation that the Heat are in, where they have a multiple high expensive contract players and a roster that in theory was designed to compete, even if that's not really what they are in practice, then this is a disappointing year. Absolutely. And I do wonder long term what the fix is for this at this point, if there is one in Miami. Like, that's just, I'm kind of at a loss for what to think of and what to believe about this team, because clearly they have the pieces. I do believe, despite Bam's struggles this season, I do think they have the pieces to move forward without Jimmy and actually build like a decent roster. Because I mean, Bam Adebayo is a solid player. He's a very good defensive big. Tyler Hero is a very, very talented offensive scorer. He's been the best offensive player on the team this year, pretty easily. And I mean, besides that, there's still a lot of other really talented players on this. Well, not unbelievably talented, but a lot of other good players in this team. Like, they would still, I think, be a play-in team without Jimmy. And I think the assets they could get for him make sense. Like, you could probably get a first-round pick in a young player. Maybe 2 first-round picks from a team. It's possible. Like, I'm not saying Jimmy's still a talented player, and he's still a guy that a team would talk themselves into. But Pat Riley seems to have no real interest in trading him, especially not to where Jimmy wants to go. And it just seems like this is going to be a stalemate, and it's going to continue to be a stalemate, and it's doing neither party any good, man. This just feels like they're just running in quicksand. I don't understand why, and it just seems like a waste of time, in all honesty. So, with that being said, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.